Ocansey.
The news is also live on Kesmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. You can also get in touch via WhatsApp number.
Coming up this evening, Electoral Commission says it is all set for its limited voter registration exercise, which commences tomorrow. Will engage stakeholders on this matter, and the press conference is ongoing at the Electoral Commission's headquarters as we speak.
Also, the Ghana Education Service has granted permission for students in second cycle institutions to partake in the exercise. We'll tell you more.
Also this evening, pre-tertiary teacher unions give government a 7-day ultimatum to clear outstanding arrears for allowances or be prepared for more agitation on the labour front.
Much later, Economic and Organised Crime Office to return docket on Cecilia Dapa to Office of Special Prosecutor. I'll tell you more of what the Executive Director has been saying.
And this case is not ending anytime soon. We have some lawyers joining us on this latest development with Cecilia Dapa and matters arising. Here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7 live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and also on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Let's get into the details. And remember, we're streaming live on Facebook at 3FM 927, on Facebook at 3FM 927, also on X at 3FM 927. Indeed,
and the Electoral Commission says all is set for the limited voter registration exercise, which commences tomorrow, May 7. The exercise is taking place at all accredited registration centres across the country. It is aiming to enrol all persons who recently turned 18 or previously could not register at the last registration window. The EC is targeting to capture about 500,000 of first voters. Now, Chairperson of the Commission, Jean Mensah, addressed a news conference a while ago.
We have successfully recruited returning officers and deputy returning officers for each of our 268 district offices nationwide. For the first time in our history, we have created a database of these officers, and we can now identify them by their names, photographs, Ghana cards, and voter ID cards, as well as residential addresses. Hitherto, they existed on paper. They were names on paper. Today, we are able to match a person's name and to his photograph and ID card and so on. I'm happy to note that all persons recruited have no less than 8 years working experience with the Commission. The Commission will make and has always made available the names and photographs of its returning officers and deputy returning officers to the political parties. And any party can object to the name of a selected returning officer or deputy returning officer. It is our desire to continue to operate a transparent and open door policy in all our dealings. The registration will be for 21 days, and it will include ranging from 2 to 3 teams, depending on the size of the district and the expectation of the number of registered voters to come through. The mobile teams, as the name connotes, will move around from one electoral area to the next electoral area. They will spend 2 days in each electoral area. The mobile teams assigned to the 25 public universities will, however, spend 3 days in each public university. CI 91, as amended by CI 126, will be used for the voters' registration exercise. Only Ghanaians 18 years and above who are of sound mind and who have not previously registered can register to vote. Eligible voters must be resident or ordinarily resident in the district where they intend to vote. The documents required for registration are either the Ghana passport or the Ghana card, that is the national identification card issued by the National Identification Authority. Voters, eligible voters who do not possess any of the above documents are required by law to visit the district officers in the district where they reside with 2 guarantors. And these 2 guarantors must be persons who are already registered voters to vouch for their citizenship and age. Sadly, in 2023, during the voters' registration exercise, the guarantor system was abused, and we found persons vouching for more than the 10 persons as the law prescribes. The Commission is engaging with the Data Protection Agency and the Ghana Police Service to explore avenues to bring the violators of the guarantor system to book. Subsection 4 of Regulation 1 of CI 91 as amended states that a registered voter shall not guarantee the identity of more than 10 persons. So it is an offense to guarantee for more than 10 persons. So we observed after our 2023 voters registration exercise that some of the guarantors violated this law. Security.
And you heard the Electoral Commission boss, Jean Mensah, addressing journalists at that press conference, which is still ongoing. Nana Kwekudia is a man on the ground. He joins us live on the phone. Nana, what more can you tell us from this all-important press conference by the EC?
So, Beatrice, the Electoral Commission is targeting about 6,230,000 new registrants this year in this new exercise they are doing. And they are also expecting to register or to register some 2,277 officers and train for this exercise. So what she's saying is that everything is ready for this exercise tomorrow. People have been trained. The target is there, like I mentioned, and also security has been made tight to ensure transparency in the exercise tomorrow. This is geared towards the 2024 elections in December. The EP is preparing everything possible to ensure that there's credible elections in December. So this one is also, they are looking at ensuring that there's transparency and everything which they need to ensure there's clean registration tomorrow without any problem is provided tomorrow.
And obviously, listening to you, it seems the EC is giving the assurance that all is set for the exercise starting tomorrow.
Exactly. All is set for the exercise, including ensuring that there are identified people from the EC who will be taking responsibility tomorrow. You are able to, they are rovers, we call them roving officers, who will be part of the observation and monitoring system. They are able to identify them. They've been given uniforms to ensure that there's everything is being done to ensure transparency tomorrow, Beatrice. Everything. They are ready for tomorrow.
Nana, one of the things that's been raging over the past few days, should I say, has been the BVDs. And Imani Africa is raising questions again, indeed has petitioned OSP and I believe Shraj. Did the commissioner or chair actually address the concerns raised by Imani at this press conference?
Yeah, exactly, Beatrice. I mean, this is the question she was just answering when the call came through, but she just mentioned that the commission is yet to receive the petition actually, and she's explaining the reasons behind all the issues that the Imani has raised, that the outcome will be to ensure that EC is clean and everything will be fine. They are positive about what transpired, and they are sure whatever Yoko will go through or Shraj will go through, the EC will come clean.
Well, Nana, so really, GES is also indicating that there's a 4-day permission granted to second cycle institutions who have attained the voting age to go home and register. Did this ever come up at the EC? Was there an indication of the Electoral Commission being aware of this notice?
No, she's not mentioned it in the main press conference, but I think, like I said, the questions are ongoing there. Probably she might have answered it, or I'm hoping when I enter after this interview, I will ask something about it for Alfred.
All right, thank you very much, Nana Kwekudia, bringing us a live update from that press conference by the Electoral Commission. Thank you.
Let me just add that we've just received a statement from the Ghana Education Service, and we'll put it on our Facebook page in a bit here at 3FM927. If you go on our Facebook page right now, we have that statement from the Ghana Education Service displayed there, and the heading, Permission to SHS, SHTS, the senior highest technical students to participate in the limited voter registration exercise. This is to all regional directors of education, and this was signed by Prince Ajimandria, Acting Director, Schools and Instructions Division for the Director General of the Ghana Education Service. The management of the Ghana Education Service has granted permission to all senior high technical school students who have attained 18 and above to go home and partake in the limited voter registration exercise scheduled to commence on Tuesday, May 17, 2024 and ends on May 27, 2024. Now, according to the Electoral Commission, the exercise will be conducted at its district offices and in difficult to access electoral areas across the country. The students have been granted 4 days off from campus effective Tuesday, May 7, that's tomorrow, 2024 to Friday, May 10, to participate and partake in the exercise in line with the constitutional right of all Ghanaians and citizens as well to exercise their franchise. Regional directors are kindly requested to communicate this information to all heads of senior high schools and senior high technical schools within the jurisdiction for compliance. And so that's information coming from the GES right now. Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer is the Deputy Director of Elections at the NDC, is joining us. Dr. Rashid Tanko, appreciate your time here on Hot Edition. First off, now you had some fundamental concerns about how the Electoral Commission was going to recruit the persons they would engage during this exercise. The chair of the Electoral Commission is saying that for this process, the political parties can object to anybody that the EC engages, which you, the political parties, are not satisfied with if you have done your own background checks. Is it one that answers or addresses that concern that you had?
My brother, it has not addressed our concerns at all. In fact, the Electoral Commissioner has been evasive and economical with the truth to the general public. You just mentioned in your press conference that you've done recruitment of returning officers and deputy returning officers, and that some of the recruited ones are going to be registration supervisors for tomorrow's exercise. The exercise is starting tomorrow, and you are asking that we can object. Okay, the person is starting his work tomorrow, and you want us to object when we have not even seen the data. You have not made the data available to us. Until she announces it here, we've not known. We don't even know the processes involved in the recruitment. The only thing we knew of was the publicity on Daily Graphic and other media that people should apply for it. But as to how they went about it, the interview she mentioned, I don't know whether the interviews were done behind cameras or something like that, or in camera, we don't know. She just announced it. This is our first time of hearing this. And you are asking us here we can object. We are aware that we can object, but we need the data. I can't object something in vacuum. And so the thing she's talking about, she's taking everybody by surprise. And she should have this should have given to us a week earlier, so that if we want to object to the officers that you want to use as registration supervisors, we'll do so. But the exercise is starting tomorrow. Then you come today and spring a surprise to everybody that those people recruited are also going to be registration supervisors. What is it?
Fair point. So you're saying that when this recruitment process started, the parties were not alerted. There was no information about this, even though it was published in the newspapers?
Yes. The only thing we know about it is the publicity. Apart from that, the process of recruiting them, that is interviewing and all that, we are not aware. We've not even know those they have shortlisted, because a lot of people would have applied. The shortlisting process, we are not aware. The only information we have is today's press conference.
So what that means is that as we speak now, you don't even know if the process of recruitment has ended, and the persons who have been recruited to start the process tomorrow, for you don't have information to even object. That's the fundamental concern.
That is it, my brother. We don't have it. It has not been made available to us. It's today that she has announced to the whole world that they have recruited returning officers and deputy returning officers, and said, do you want to use them as registration supervisors? We're not aware. The last IPAC meeting, they didn't tell us anything about it. They said they were on course. You remember when we wrote our epistle about the recruitment process? They came out with all manner of explanation. And today she repeated the same thing. And we are saying that we just wanted the list. If we get the list, we will peruse it, and we will let her know that these are the persons they recruited, the process leading to that. We can point out some of these things. But we don't know. As of now, we don't know. And she's telling us we can object to it. How do I object to something that I don't know?
Dr. Computer, Beatrice here. You're obviously saying in what you've told us so far that the EC seems to have sprung a surprise on you as a political party. Was there a possibility of requesting for this document ahead of this exercise tomorrow?
Of course. The process is that you do the recruitment, you inform us, we have done the recruitment. These are the list of people we've recruited. Although they've given us officials, registration officers and all that. They've given us those who are going to man the registration centers of that. But the issue of returning officers, they have not given it to us.
So knowing that the time was drawing closer and the EC had not given to you as you expected, did the NDC make any official request for the list?
Well, we were thinking that they were going to use the same registration officials they used for 2023. Those registration supervisors they used for 2023. We had no issues with them. And so now if you are not going to change and you want to use the newly recruited returning officers to serve as registration supervisors, let us know. At least inform us. Give us the data. So if you want to object to an officer that you have recruited as your returning officer, we'll do so before the registration starts. But now you have just informed us. So we now have to write requesting for the data, and that can only be done tomorrow, of which registration will have started tomorrow. And the process of giving financing those data for us to also check, peruse the names, and now see whether we should raise objection against those people or not. That means a week would have elapsed. And those people, you know what they would have been doing. These are the issues we are talking about. But nonetheless, we have our eyes on the prize.
So what does this tell the NDC? I mean, the seeming lack of information from the EC, as you tell us. Are you going to change your strategy so that next time you're not coming on radio telling us that the EC did not provide you information, but you also went ahead and sought after it?
That is why I'm saying that despite all these shenanigans that they are playing out, that will not deter us from participating in the process. We will go ahead with the process. We already know their position. We know the posturing of the current electoral commissioners. And so we are not surprised at all. This one there, I'm not surprised. And I know my boss himself is not surprised. Because that has been their behavior. They say one thing and do different things. We're not surprised at all. Because this thing that we talked about, everybody knows that if you do this and you are telling them we can object, the persons have started work and you are asking we should object. Let us object before the persons are. What were you doing the whole week? But these are the things they are doing. When we talk, then they think that we are hard hit on them. But you see, you cannot describe this as being transparent process that you are into. That is not fair enough. You are not making the level grounds fair for everybody. That is not fair enough.
Well, Dr. Tanko, hold on a bit for me, because I have the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Haruna Mohammed, also joining us on the telephone. And I appreciate your time. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Ocansey.
Great. It's good to have you join us. So the NDC essentially is raising concerns about not being in the known of the Electoral Commission's recruitment process for instance, the persons who are going to be engaged as registration officers beginning tomorrow during this limited voter registration exercise. Now, were you also in the known of the recruitment process? Because the Electoral Commission chair is saying that if you, the political parties, have any concerns about the people that they are going to engage, any of the persons they are going to engage tomorrow as officers, you can raise objections about it and then they can take an action. But in effect, the NDC is saying, look, we don't even know these people because we're not even informed during the recruitment process. Is it the same for you?
Thank you, Ocansey. We political parties have always been the biggest stakeholders when it comes to the conduct of the election processes in Ghana. If you read carefully the CI that regulates registrations in Ghana, CI 91 and CI 126, it is clear that we political parties can object, as the Electoral Commissioner has said. However, timelines have been given for this particular activities, which has not been afforded us as political parties enough time to be able to conduct investigations on officers who are going to be recruited to work for the Electoral Commission on this particular exercise and any other exercise that is going to be conducted in Ghana. Lo and behold, on this particular process, I believe that the call for transparency is legitimate. And I believe that we as MPP have not also been in the known in terms of the constitutional processes as contained in CI 191, because we're supposed to know there's either 14 days or 7 days before the Electoral Commission has 7 days to take a decision on our objections and communicate to stakeholders or persons who have objected to officers that is going to be used for this particular process. So if they have gone ahead to publish or now to publish the names again tomorrow that they are to start and ask that we can object, we take the steps within the process of the registration, then we take the steps to object. It means that they would also take some time to investigate and get their report back to us. It's unfortunate, but we still have the window to object to members or officers who are going to be assigned to this particular duty. It's unfortunate that we have not had ample time, but we have been asked to object. It means that the time limits that have been given that have expired within CI 126 and CI 91 has been extended by the Electoral Commissioner and asked that we will be able to object. And I believe that even though it is too late in time, but it is fair for us to be able to take such an opportunity.
I see, but the other concern is that, yes, there's a remedy to this omission by the Electoral Commission, but to the extent that these people would have started work tomorrow already, even before you, the parties, if you have any objections, you raise them, probably it might be too late in some of the instances because you may not even have the time to do the background check of all these hundreds of people who are going to be engaged by the Electoral Commission beginning tomorrow. Is it a fair concern by the NDC?
And that's what I said. They have a legitimate concern, and we also have legitimate concerns because I believe that we as a political party have not been afforded the opportunity to look at it. But whatever be the case, in all the centers that the registration is going to take place, we have registration agents for political parties who have been assigned the rules of the game as enshrined in CI 91. We have been asked to put agents. So once these officers are temporarily doing this exercise within the time limit, starting tomorrow, we will be able to raise objections on some of these personalities if we find that these people need to recuse themselves in terms of the performance of their duty. Too late, but not too bad. We will be able to take such a process within the limited period. But it's unfortunate we needed ample time to have done this.
Mr. Mohammed, let me ask you the question I did ask of the NDC representative. What is the MPP going to do to ensure we don't get into similar situations, waiting on the EC to give you information when possibly you could equally ask for it?
In this particular process, what do you do to an unknown list? Because you don't have the list. You don't know the people. So what do you do? So we obviously cannot do anything if the list is not provided to us. So in this particular situation, we are going to depend on the list that will be provided in the immediate instance of the start of the process. And that is what we are going to hang on to. But however, we join our colleagues in the NDC to call out the Electoral Commission to always provide us these details to be able to do proper investigation to ascertain the veracity or the knowledge base of these people and whether they have a political affiliations or that.
Haruna, I do appreciate your time and want to say thank you very much for joining us always.
Thank you, Ocansey, and thank you to my brother, Dr. Rashid Computer.
My brother, how are you?
I'm fine.
I'm sure you guys are preparing your hand.
Beatrice, but Haruna, Beatrice was just telling me that this is the first time that both of you are agreeing on something, and it means that it's your common interest.
Okay, this one is the CI. If you don't learn the CI, you will not be able to perform adequately. Okay. And this is a legitimate call. When you read the CI, it is clear the number of days that we are supposed to be given this opportunity. We are going into this particular election in the form that we came in 2016. So we are very careful. We are not relying on any officer of government or any officer of state or agency to win the election. So we are going to be very meticulous and make sure the right thing is done.
Right on. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Arna Mohammed, Deputy General Secretary of the MPP. Dr. Rashid Tanko, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
The pleasure is mine.
Appreciate it. He is also the Deputy Director of Elections of the NDC, Dr. Rashid Tanko there.
And let's bring you some other stories because the Economic and Organized Crime Office, IOCO, plans to return the docket it received from the Office of the Special Prosecutor on Cecilia Dapa's case. The Executive Director, COP Mamiya Tiwa Adodankwa, stated that despite requesting additional information from the OSP, IOCO has not received any response yet. The OSP commenced investigations into the Cecilia Dapa stashed cash case following reports that huge sums of money had been stolen from her residences. The investigations were later referred to the Economic and Organized Crime Office after the OSP concluded the case had to do with money laundering, which does not fall within its mandate. The Office of the Attorney General, in a recent opinion, described the referral as lacking basis since the OSP failed to point to any unlawful activity undertaken by the former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Abena Dapa. Well, the Executive Director of IOCO, Mamiya Tiwa Adodankwa, is talking, and she is explaining that her office asked for directions from the Attorney General because the OSP failed to provide additional information. Listen to her.
Find out one thing from the OSP and Cecilia Dapa, and I just wanted to find out what informed the decision of your office to seek the Attorney General's advice.
All right, so when you look at the IOCO Act, it says on the authority of the Attorney General prosecutes all offenses. So no matter what you do, it will end on the Attorney General's office. When the docket was referred to us, you mean Madam Cecilia Dapa's case, the docket was referred to us because in the opinion of the special prosecutor, it borders on money laundering. So if you look at the release that the Attorney General came out with, we requested for the basis of the SP coming out with that conclusion that enabled him to say that we should continue. We requested for that, we didn't get, maybe as at now we haven't received any response. And we sat down to review the whole docket. At the end of the day, we realized that we couldn't find our way clearer. Most of the time, when you finish your docket, you can send it to Attorney General's office for advice. But this is not something that we send for advice because we couldn't even find our way. We didn't see our way clearer. So we wanted the Attorney General to look at what we've done and direct as to the way forward. Remember, before the docket was referred to us, the source of the money had already been referred to the Criminal Investigation Department. The Attorney General had directed the CID to look at the source of the money. You realize that corruption or money laundering is not a standalone offense. I'm not a lawyer, but by my training, I know that it is money laundering. It is because the source of the money is coming from an unlawful activity. So you can only talk about money laundering when the source of the money is from unlawful activity. So having reviewed the document that we received from ASP, we didn't see any offense, predicate offense, from which we'll proceed our investigation on. So we requested direction from the Office of the Attorney General, and then he came out to say that what he would have directed us to do, looking for the source of the money, had already been directed at the CID to do that. And it will be a duplication of effort for the CID to be doing the same thing, exact directives, and the IOCO will also be doing exact directives. So in that case, something that we would have done, CID is already doing it. So what is the point in doing that? Remember that any offense, when they say something is a criminal offense, it means you need evidence to either say this to, because you cannot present anything to the courts because of the way you think, because of the way you feel. It is based on evidence, and if you don't have evidence, you don't have a case. That is what the law says, and we always work within the law. What we are mandated to do is not what I think, it's not what I feel. It's about the law, what the law allows us to do as an institution.
Look, it's a long one, and we're going to be hearing a bit more from Mamiya Tiwa Adodankwa, but we need to do this quickly because Martin Pebo is a private legal practitioner. He's a well sought after voice when it comes to this matter, so we have to do it so he goes on to others. Counsel, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Ocansey.
And for those who listen to 3FM on Saturday morning or watch TV3, you dealt with this matter quite clearly, even to the understanding of the non-legal mind. But this is Mamia Tiwa saying that, first off, Yoko didn't see their way clear. They didn't know what to do. And so they had to seek legal advice from the Attorney General. That's one part which I wanted to address. The second issue, which we'll come to, is a bit about the predicate offense. So would you agree with the Yoko when Mamia says that, look, you know what, we didn't even know what to do. We didn't see our way clear, so we sought advice from the Attorney General?
Good. So, like you said, she's not a lawyer. That's why she's seeking advice. Except that when she's seeking advice, the Attorney General himself is shown that he doesn't understand money laundering. Yes, Attorney General is shown that he can't handle this thing. You know what? When I listen to Mami Tiwa, the first thing that occurred to me is that, look, I'm calling on the Attorney General. They should let me come on this case. Pro bono. I'll help them. Because, listen, Mr. Ocansey,
You do free service for the Attorney General?
Yes, I need to help. I'll help the Attorney General any day. So I spent the weekend after the Saturday morning show. The way the Attorney General is so denied that you need predicate offenses. Look, I spent the whole weekend, over 16 hours, researching this just to see whether maybe I'm wrong. The more I read, then the more I see that, listen, it's an open and shut case. So what the AG has to do is that, look, he should offer not only me, there are other lawyers who also hold the same opinion. Bring us to the table. Let's help. Now, let's put a bit of it out here in this conversation. So when you compare, you see, the money laundering thing, already, so the first thing to note is that this predicate offense, the simple answer is that, please, Section 1, subsection 3 says that now money laundering is a standalone offense.
But Mami Atiwa says, based on the law, she said her understanding of the law is that it's not a standalone offense. You heard her.
Good. That's why she says she's not a lawyer. That's why. So it's good. I like the humility because we all don't know it all. But the more we read and the more we get educated. If you can say, on Saturday, I read to you what Parliament said they were doing. Let's read it again. It will just help because even the Bible, we keep reading, we never finish. Listen, that's what Parliament says. The clause, therefore, introduces a component which distinguishes the offense of money laundering as a standalone offense. So Parliament says that Section 1.3, what they've done is that now money laundering is a standalone offense. But if you go and then you have the predicate offense, it's bonus. Like we say, this is Namdudro and saying quite locally. If you get predicate, it's a bonus. But Parliament is very clear. I read it said money laundering is now a standalone offense. After this, I'll come and meet you privately. Send some of these things where maybe she doesn't follow the conversations because like by now should have said, oh, I've heard other people saying it is standalone. So I want to go back to the Attorney General to explain because the Attorney General has never referred to this memorandum from Parliament. Even the Attorney General's letter signed by Evelyn Kilson, they never referred to Section 1, subsection 3.
Absolutely.
They obviously didn't see it. And it's not a crime. We all make mistakes. But where the problem is the way they are digging in their heels. They just don't want to accept. Then it gives me worry. That's why I said this case, they should bring me on board. I will help them. Now let's go to the other side. When she says they couldn't see their way clear. If you look at other countries, the way they deal with money laundering, there are many different ways they deal with it. But I'm talking about in the case of the other part that we seem to be hitting a snag. When you see the plenty money like this, okay, the UK cases, 6 cases, they all support. You look at the means of the person. When you see big money like this, the first place you start is, madam, what's your income? What's your income? So a minister's salary. And let's not forget, she's already given statements to OSC, and those statements are on the docket, Mamiti West docket. Okay, I say Mamiti West docket because now the docket is with her, OSC sent it to her. You will see that she doesn't have any other income apart from this. That's the minister's salary.
A minister's salary, we've already done the calculations that the whole of the 8 years can never give her those money, right? So that is the main place. So the thing that is so obvious, but that's the wisdom when you haven't dealt with it, and I'm saying this in humility. You'll be looking for complex things, but they say no. When you see plenty money like this, the first thing is, where's your income? Where is your income?
That's where you look at Article 286.
Exactly, clause 4. Look, the Saturday when I saw the UK cases, you see RV Onwa, RV Yip, RV Smith, RV Kudatidia. So many cases, like 6 of them, they kept repeating that when you are going to prove that this is money laundering, if you can get the specific offense, what was totally wrong, even that. So now I'm coming to predicate. Even the predicate that they are making so much, so much of an argument about. Even the predicate in the UK, they will tell you, and the same money laundering we are trying to fight. They tell you that if you want to prove the predicate, you are free to, if you have the specific offense, if you know specifically what offense, whether it was stealing that generated the revenue. Let's not forget, money laundering means that process of trying to change the nature of money. So money that comes from illicit origin, you are trying to do something new with it so that the illicit origin would appear to be washed away, would disappear. That's why they call it laundering, laundering. So they say if you know the predicate 120%, no problem. So maybe if you can show that it was cocaine they did to get this money or any other narcotic, or maybe they went and stole the money which they are now using to set up a boutique, or they were hired to kill somebody or to beat somebody and they were given 200,000 Ghana, which they are now trying to use to start a business, etc. Correct. But if you don't know that predicate offense directly, but you can see from all the circumstances that this is money from a crime, that is also sufficient. That if you don't know the name of the predicate, but if you look at the circumstances of the case, immediately it will hit you, boom, this is money from a crime, that is also okay. So they use the word irresistible inference. Irresistible inference. And Ghana, we are used to the word irresistible inference. We use it, that's circumstantial evidence. Our Supreme Court has been using the same thing. They will tell you that it's not every time that you can see people committing a crime, Gani. So we rely on circumstantial evidence. So that's why I said this case there, I have to help Attorney General. I have to help him. I tell you, because I've read the cases, they are clear. They say when you see big cash in a house, its ordinary place should be what? A bank. But if you see big cash like that in a house quickly, then this alarm bells are ringing about a crime. And so the first thing, is where's your income? Where did it come from? Or what's the source of the money? So once the person cannot show that income or that source, then that's it. Anybody, when you show it to a judge, irresistible. The thing the UK is talking about, we do it in Ghana too. It's called circumstantial evidence. So you don't always need direct evidence that the businessman who gave the money to that person, the businessman who was given a contract and now he has brought a kickback. You won't get him easily to come to court and say, yes, I gave this kickback to Mrs. Susu and so, or Madam Susu and so. Because that businessman will also be in trouble. Corruption is not done in the open, right? So that's how the law is also flexible. So Madam T.Y.'s starting place, it was right before her that once she was given the docket and she saw that huge sums of money, calling Madam Dapa, where's your income? And thankfully, the OSC had already done work on that side. So if Madam Dapa tried to contradict herself, it will go against Section 80 of the Evidence Act. It will go against her. Already now, so many things have gone against her, the way she's changed her story a number of times. And you see, there's a conspiracy here. First, I didn't want to say conspiracy, but now I want to believe that there is a conspiracy.
What's the conspiracy?
Yes, the Attorney General also news file, and he said, one, Madam Tiwa had finished the investigations and didn't see anything. That's what the Attorney General said. So later, when they brought in another person and they wanted the Attorney General to come back onto the show, he didn't. But it's on record and I'm preparing to sue. I'm preparing to sue on this case. Quick. It's not going to delay a bit more. As I said, I've done enough research. It's good for the case to go to court. AG said Tiwa had finished. Meanwhile, Tiwa is saying, no, I did something, and then I needed further direction. But AG said Tiwa had finished. Meanwhile, the letter signed by Ezra Kilson said that you can commence, but it is not necessary. But on news file on Joy FM on Saturday, AG said Tiwa finished, Tiwa is done. And further said that the source of the money is in there. From day one, Madam Dapa had always said the source of the money is the what? Funeral, the donation. Yes, that thing. Yes, he mentioned it. He mentioned it on news file that the source of the money had always been there. The brothers, and then the brothers' money. That
proceeds from his funeral.
Yes,
but I recall that the widow of the brother sought to take her part of the money, and then that story changed.
Excellent. So that's what I'm saying. So you see why now I can openly say then I believe in the conspiracy. I believe it now clearly. The Attorney General has now shown that yes, he's in that conspiracy to free Madame Dapa. Now there is clear. I like to deal fully fast. It's not speculation. He himself went and said so.
Counsel, but I want to find out this. There's a question that's come through, but that even though Mami Atiwa is not a lawyer, she's at a place where she's surrounded by lawyers. So she cannot claim ignorance as the excuse for this situation and say, oh, I'm not a lawyer. But then again, based on that ignorance, she takes a decision. How is that excusable?
Oh, listen, that one there, you see how I mentioned that we all make mistakes. It depends on the expertise of the lawyer. We all don't know it. The good thing is that I'm happy, and that's the right spirit we use in the law. She says that she doesn't know it all. So that's how come we are saying that we'll come into hell. It's okay. Let's not push that too far. Nobody knows it all. So, I mean, once she said the truth, if she had said, listen, this is her work, that is it, it is final, then would have said there's a problem. Her situation is 100 times better than what the Attorney General is now doing. That shameful conspiracy he's publicly engaged in. Now he's been found out. He's been found out. He's contradicted himself and trying to contradict Tiwa and everything. So now we know who is the problem. It's the Attorney General. And I can say that confidently, based on his own public utterances. The Attorney General is a problem. Of course, Madam Tiwa is still also will hold there for not going for the money. That's that aspect. But on the matter of the case not moving forward, it's now very clear that Gofredame is the stumbling block. Very, very clear. It's just God. Look, all you need to do is play back, look for the news file tape, and you'll see. He says Tiwa finished. Tiwa is done. And Tiwa is said that there's nothing that can be done. Meanwhile, Tiwa is saying, I'm only asking for further directions. I'm not done. But Gofredame says it's done. And then number two, Gofredame says the source is even known. So why is he still waiting for the police? He says that the source of the money is there, right from day one, the facts in the charge sheet. So if you go and take the facts in the charge sheet, you will see that Madam Dapa said funeral and then the brother's money. So that is it. That's what Gofredame is doing to us. This case is going to court. Quick. We are not wasting time. No. Unless tomorrow they come and say, well, they've discovered their mistakes, so they are going back to do the right thing. That one, why not? But if not, this one there, by law, I'm still thinking through. We have to give Attorney General 30 days notice. But sometimes if you don't give it, the court will not cancel the case. They will just adjourn it. So I'm thinking between the two. But this case there, it's right for court straight. By yesterday evening, by this time, I was very convinced that quickly. Let's not waste time. The evidence is lying right in front of you, and then you're beating around the bush. You say, who? How many places on this earth will you see that the person who brought the bride will come out and say, I'm the one who brought it? Where?
Lawyer Kwegu, Beatrice here. So you're describing the seeming stance of the AG as shameful. Do I get the understanding, based on what you said, that you think that the AG is playing all of us, the reason you want to go to court?
Absolutely, Beatrice. Absolutely. Let's not waste time. They said it. Let's repeat. They say when you don't find the name of the predicate, so if you don't find the name as corruption, if you don't find that it is a bribe that was brought to Madam Dapa, the next method of proving it is that show from all the circumstances that this thing here is definitely proceeds of crime. How do you show? They say when you see plenty money, start from the income. A number of cases, so repeating is 6 cases. And UK, when they say court of appeal, even before you go to court of appeal, high court already is so difficult. Well, no. Then you say you are going to court of appeal, and court of appeal, they've spoken a number of times. That is the rule. They say if you don't find the name of the source of the income as stealing, corruption, whatever, if you don't, look at the circumstances. Then they go on to tell you that if you don't find, holding money per se is not a crime. But if you look at the circumstances, and it said that there's irresistible conclusion that this is a crime, is sufficient. So it's for Yoko on the authority of the AG to put it before the judge. So once they've done the income of Madame Dapa and done the calculations and seen that even for a decade you won't get this amount of money, can you imagine? First there was $1 million, then the money that was found in her home, they found $540,000 and then 2.7 something million Ghana cedis. Then you go to the money in the accounts, which at the point we had was, excuse me, in excess of 40 million, though later they denying and saying it's volume of transactions. So it's not exactly over 40. But whatever it is, it's also millions of Ghana cedis, which they don't deny. Straight. This is a classical case of what they're saying, that look at the income. It's so plain. It's in plain sight. Maybe that is what, you see, as lawyers, sometimes we have that thing. You are looking for a case where they've sanctioned it. And I'm saying that I've found those cases where the courts say, look at the income and then go ahead.
Let me take you just a little back. I know you said we shouldn't dwell too much on it, but should we be concerned that Mami Tiwa is occupying such a sensitive office? You're talking about financial crimes here, and she doesn't seem to have a grasp of the law per her own words. Should we be concerned?
I'll tell you, an incompetent but honest police woman, an incompetent but honest policewoman is 100 times better than a competent but dishonest policewoman. So when the person is competent but dishonest, no. And they choose the incompetent one who will be honest. Like the way she said that she couldn't see her head and tail out of it. It's okay, Beatrice. It's okay for me. My only problem with her, where we should be directing attention is that, Madam, but why didn't you collect the money? Beatrice, just like you are interviewing me, you can check on the record. When the day 25th of January, when the court gave OSP 72 hours to return the money to Madame Dapa because OSP said he was no longer going on with the case, we started saying that, hey, then Yoko should follow OSP to go and give the money to Madame Dapa so that once the money is handed over to her, Yoko will then confiscate and seize immediately. We kept saying it. So the place where I have a problem with Tiwa is how she sat on her hands and didn't accompany OSC. Or if Madame Dapa was brought into OSC offices and was given the money there, how her men were not on site. That is where that one, she cannot be faulted. But as for not knowing these principles of law, I can't fault her because I've told you that we all don't know it all. So I don't want to make
Counsel, it's not about her. I think that the point is there are lawyers at Yoko. In fact, I know one of them. I think 2 of them also. So it's not about her. To the extent that there are lawyers there to advise her, obviously as the head of Yoko, you're not expected to know everything. That's why they employ lawyers there to advise you. So if you're taking decisions based on your own ignorance, then what's the use of the lawyers who are employed at Yoko?
Oh, like I've said, let's not push this particular point. And let's not push it too much. Because as I've told you, I'll give you 1,001 examples how not every lawyer, me talking to you, you think it's everything I would know. No, it's not possible. It's not humanly possible. Yes, so let's just accept. Because now I want to give you foreign examples and the rest. If you read Condoleezza Rice's book, I think I've referred to it a number of times, right? The Anna, right? In that book, she shows how at a point, some lawyers were asked to do some work. The time Bush was bombing Iraq, the waterboarding, the time they took some of the detainees, the Guantanamo Bay, the waterboarding and other aggressive interrogative tactics and the rest, whether it is legal or illegal. Madam Rice, Condoleezza Rice, former national security advisor to President Bush, and then she became Secretary of State. Can you imagine that powerful ministerial position? She said, when they were going to do the opinion, right, there were certain times she said, look, the Attorney General himself, I don't know if it was he or she, should pay attention, particular attention to the brief. Okay? Yes, she needed him because she knew that, look, I'm not sure your subordinates understand this, but I know that you know this, or if you don't know, you seek help. Oh, so there are a number of things. Look, I'll just read another case. Look, UK minister, Friends of Earth versus Minister for Energy in the UK. They were dealing with climate change, net zero. The minister, there was a lot of stuff. The minister didn't know all of it. So when the case went to court, they were trying to say, the minister should have known and everything. The court said, no, he doesn't know everything. Some of the things you read, other things you read, he will depend on the advisors to brief him and the rest. So if we want to go, we'll go on and on and on and on and on. So the fact that somebody has a big position doesn't mean that the person knows it all in this world. No. Is President Kufuor the smartest person in Ghana? Is he the most intelligent because he's president? Is President Kufuor the smartest lawyer in Ghana? Is he president because he's the most intelligent? No, but he's president.
Okay.
He's president. So let's not push it. Let's go to the one that is easier to deal with. That one everybody will understand, which is that OSP announced that in the coming weeks, please, can we get the date of the Ankwa Numa this press conference? He said in the coming weeks, and that wasn't even the first time. I think he had earlier on mentioned it, that he'll be handing over the brief to the to Yoko. And then there was another second public announcement. I'll be handing over the Ankwa Numa. So the Ankwa Numa interview was a press conference. Was the second time he was mentioned that the brief will be going to Yoko. And then also Beatrice, you guys note this. Yoko has an officer who is a focal person to OSP. If Yoko needs anything from OSP, there's a focal person. Let's dig and find out who is that man. That's his job. Anything they need from OSP is that officer. In the same way, OSP also has an officer who is a focal person to Yoko. Anything they need from Yoko, that officer is the first point of call. Of course, the bosses can always talk, but to make sure that things are moving on and not this is stalling because you can't reach the boss to OSP, Kisiejabe himself to call Madam Tiwa. That's why they have found other officers to deal directly so that always work can go on quickly. So the question you should be asking is that when OSP started announcing publicly, I'll be handing over this brief, and we gave interviews publicly that, hey, make sure that you are following to go and collect the money. What was Yoko doing? That one is easy. That one I would never take any explanation. But as for knowledge, there, like I've told you, as a lawyer, I've read many cases that show that the big person doesn't always know it all and blah, blah, blah. So that one, you see that I've defended Tiwa in a way. They're not defended, but I've put out the bare fact that from my readings, you can't always say the boss knows it all, or even the lieutenant. Even the lieutenant, it depends, etc. But the one that is inexcusable is how Yoko sat down and this money was returned to Madam Dapa without Yoko seizing it. Because they have the same powers that the OSP has. And they started doing it long before OSP was set up. This seizing money and freezing accounts. Yoko there, when you go there, it's like child's play for them, seizing properties and then freezing accounts. Every day, it's routine.
Indeed.
It's routine. That's what they do every day. And yet this one, they sat down. That is where we will take Tiwa on. Yes, that's where Tiwa is answerable. Has to be held accountable. She and the focal person, by a whole organization, you sat down and this money went to this Madame Dafa. How?
All right, we'll have to end it here. Thank you very much, private legal practitioner Martin Kwebu, for joining us on Hot Edition. And you're still here on Hot Edition. Michael Ogbodu is standing by to bring us the latest in business. Michael.
They are coming from all over the country and even beyond. They are coming to take their place at the table of champions. It's not just a race, it is a movement. 3FM presents Tour du Ghana 2024, the ultimate cycling event, a tour of sheer endurance, grit, power, and perseverance. So seasoned riders, professionals, and leisure riders, mark your calendars for May 18, 2024. 3FM Tour du Ghana is back with a thrill. This year, start point is at the Media General Premises Kanda to the Scenic and Bryso Town in the Eastern region. Join us in the fight against climate change, one pedal at a time. To confirm participation, register at a fee of 150 Ghana cedis for single riders and 100 Ghana cedis for each rider in a group of 10. Cyclists stand the chance of winning prizes worth 100,000 Ghana cedis. Your registration comes with personal accident cover, feeding, and transportation. So grab your helmet, saddle up, and join us on the 18th of May for the 3FM Tour du Ghana Sustainable Ride for Climate Change. For more details, contact 0532 200 927 or 0531 100 927. Let's pedal together for a greener and brighter future. 3FM Tour du Ghana. Be part of the thrilling adventure for change. Technical partners, Ghana Cycling Federation, and proudly sponsored by Malta Guinness, DHL, Bloom Medical, and Decathlon.
I just want to tell my mom that I love her. You know, she's been a great mom.
Sunday, the 12th of May is the day set aside to celebrate Mother's Day. TV3 and 3FM 92.7 gives you the chance to make it memorable for Mama with the exclusive event Dining with Mama at the plush Tomrick Hotel, East Legon from 1 p.m. Time to celebrate your incredible mothers and mother figures. Win great prizes while enjoying delicious food and drinks, live band music, artiste performances, and games. Join us at Dining with Mama on Sunday, May 12th at 1 p.m. Rate is single 350 Ghana cedis and double 600 Ghana cedis. Tickets are available at the front desk of TV3 and Tomrick Hotel, East Legon. For reservations, please call 0532 200 927 or 0532 300 927. TV3 and 3FM wishes all mothers a happy Mother's Day.
God bless you, mama. God bless you, mama. God bless you, mama.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to the business segment here on Hot Edition. Coming up this evening, uncertainty looms over French bank Societe Generale's Ghana's subsidiary as reports suggest potential exits. We'll bring you the details shortly. I am Michael Obodu. Please stay. Well, thank you for staying. Straight into our top story. 3 business sources can confirm that about 1,000 workers of French bank Societe Generale are uncertain about the future of the Ghana subsidiary following reports about a possible exit from the African market. Sources close to the bank revealed that Societe Generale has enlisted the services of investment bank Lazard to seek potential buyers for its operations in Ghana, Cameroon, and Tunisia. It's been hinted that Absa Bank is seriously considering the acquisition of these subsidiaries. There is more in the following report.
It's been nearly 48 hours after news went viral about the decision of French bank Societe Generale to exit the Ghana market, including 2 other African countries, namely Tunisia and Cameroon. However, 3 business checks with management of the bank here in Ghana suggest there has been no definite decision made, with workers of the bank completely at a loss about the future of the bank's subsidiary in Ghana. Some banking experts fear this latest rumor could create uncertainty in the minds of customers who may be worried about their investments. Weeks ago, Societe Generale finalized agreements with Saham Group to sell its Moroccan operations. Last year, it divested its interest in several African countries, including Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Mauritania, Burkina Faso, and Chad. According to reports, the Societe Generale Group, with its long-standing presence in Africa, intends to concentrate its resources on markets where it can establish itself as a leading bank in alignment with the group's overall strategy, as stated on its website on April 12, 2024.
So that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Away from that, the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISE, is cautioning the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana with its policy rate adjustment ahead of the general elections. The committee is set to meet over its 118th review of developments in the economy and subsequently adjust its key lending rates following the recent hike in April inflation to 25.8%. Speaking to 3 Business, Director of ISE, Professor Peter Quote, advised that the rate be well thought through to prevent economic crunch.
Central Bank has been using its monetary policy tools, adjusting the policy rate as and when necessary. That also can have its negative repercussions on the private sector. It can increase the cost of lending. Interest rates might go up. So there's a limit to which the central bank can operate. Monetary policy can be very effective if it's in tandem with fiscal policy. So the government should also work towards ensuring a stable or relatively affordable cost of doing business. If businesses are overtaxed, that can create a challenge. If utilities and other things are increased, that can have knock-on effects on cost of doing business. So it lies in the bosom of the fiscal authorities as well as the monetary policy, to achieve this target. Monetary policy rates can be adjusted, just like Bank of Ghana is doing, as and when necessary, to mop up excess liquidity.
So that was Professor Peter Quote speaking there. He is the director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research. Now, the Ghana Chamber of Mines has emphasized the need for enhanced collaboration between industry and academia to ensure that academic research yields practical benefits for the mining sector. The Chamber's chief executive underscores the significance of this partnership in addressing key operational challenges faced by businesses. Dr. Suleiman Nukuni highlighted these sentiments during the signing of a memorandum for understanding between the Chamber and the University of Mines and Technology aimed at enhancing gold refining processes.
It has to be deepened. You don't have a choice. Ours is a major industry, and Prof said that it's backed by knowledge, by research, and so on and so forth. Obviously, the universities don't have all the resources to be able to do that kind of research to support our industry and our nation. Anytime we see these opportunities and we believe that it's feasible to offer them support, why not? We generally will step in, because we know that it will come back to actually support the work our member companies do, and then the fortunes of the country as well. So that's how come we look for these opportunities to be able to put in some resources to be able to, realize the benefits for our country and our industry. And Prof. Grace said, the lead researcher for this project, said that, during the address she actually gave to the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, she thought it wise to actually invite my good self to be there. And that's where the opportunity came, because given my background, I saw the huge opportunity for our country and our industry to say, what can we do to develop this study further, to actualize it in industry? So it's not a theoretical thing, but making sure that we put some resources behind it, make sure that we train the required capacity to be able to do it, and then ultimately we'll get the benefit as an industry, and enhancing recovery from an average of about 50% to more than 90%. I think it should be a game changer, like Prof said.
So that was the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Dr. Suleiman Akone, speaking. They're bringing an end to the business segment here on Hot Edition. For more business stories, please check out our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe. Up next, it's sports with Billy looking all sharp. Stay tuned.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Billy Shen. Let's begin from the World Relay Championships, where Ghana booked the place in the 2024 Olympic Games after recording a season best time of 38.29 seconds. They beat rivals Nigeria in their heats to qualify. In an interview with 3 Sports, Joseph Paul Amoa, who is one of the members of the team, stated how happy he was with the qualification and the fact that they made a season best time.
I was very, very impressed with the time. You know, having a season best is always something that as athletes we wish for. You know, having a season best means that's the fastest you run the whole season. Obviously in Ghana, we ran 38.4 and then we ran 38.29 with a pretty different team this time. So I was very impressed. And, you know, having the new guys on the team and being able to do this, I just feel like it's a stepping stone to something great coming. Qualification for the Olympics is very amazing, and we can't ask for anything better than this, honestly. We just can't wait to, you know, get even more prepared and go in there and you know, showcase our talent even more.
Now, Joseph Paul Amoah is also pleased with the new generation of Ghanaian athletes racing for glory. He's referring to Isaac Botu and Ibrahim Fusaini, who recently joined the relay team for the competition.
So the younger athletes on the team bring a special type of energy. You know, that's something that we all need. You know, they even though the experience is now about to be built, we need that type of energy to be able to push us whilst you add the little experience that we've gained over the years. So having them on the team is a special thing for us, and it also, you know, paves the way for, you know, the future coming, because they are the ones that are going to take over. And yeah, we'll do whatever we can to be able to help them with the experience that we have. Yeah.
That was Joseph Paul Amoah, a Ghanaian athlete who is a sprinter for Ghana. Now moving on to the Ghana Premier League. Accra Lions and Aduana FC shared the spoils in a goalless draw earlier today. This result means Accra Lions remain third on the league log with 44 points and Aduana remain fourth with 43 points. In Europe, the latest is that manager David Moyes will leave West Ham at the end of the Premier League season, the club have confirmed. Moyes, who is 61 years old, had come under increasing pressure after a poor run of results, including Sunday's 5-0 defeat by Chelsea. The squad took over for a second spell at the club in December 2019 and guided the Hammers to Europa Conference League success last season, their first major trophy in 43 years. But the side have won just one of their past 10 games in all competitions. It has been widely reported that Spanish coach Julian Lopetegui will be the new coach of the club. So Mohamed Kudus will have a new manager at club football next season. Still on the Premier League, Manchester United boss Erik ten Hag has waxed lyrical about the performances of Bruno Fernandes this season. The midfielder leads the side in goals, assists, chances created, among others, this campaign.
Absolutely important that so responsibility, taking responsibility, I think that's one of the biggest assets nowadays top footballers has to show and to deliver. And so Bruno delivers it. He's always available. So misses never a game and always play in a good level and always giving energy to the team. And I think such assets are necessary to be successful.
Now, Ten Hag added that the club is keeping tabs on the progress of Jadon Sancho, who joined Dortmund on loan in the winter transfer window this year. Sancho has been mercurial for the black and yellow since his return, helping them to a place in the Champions League semis, where they will be facing PSG in the second leg on Tuesday. They currently lead PSG by 1-0 on aggregate.
Close in that process, so we visiting games, and so not only yesterday, and we visit. I will not say all the games, but we have seen more games from Dortmund where Jadon was performing there. So we had a visit with him. We had a talk with him. We will keep going with this process. We will also continually be in contact.
That was Erik ten Hag, the manager of Manchester United. Here are the starting lineups as Manchester United prepare to face Crystal Palace later tonight at 7 p.m. in the Premier League, when Andre Onana is starting in goal for Manchester United. Dalot, Evans, Casemiro and Wan-Bissaka in defence. In midfield, we have Eriksen, Kobe Mainoo, Garnacho, Mason Mount and Anthony. And in attack, we have Rasmus Højlund. For Crystal Palace, we have Henderson in goal. Nathaniel Klein, Anderson and Richards in defense, Munoz, Watson, Hughes and Mitchell in midfield, and in attack we have Olise, Eze and Mateta. But let's look at the standings in the Premier League before this game. Arsenal are on top of the Premier League table with 83 points. Manchester City are second with 82. Liverpool are third with 78. Aston Villa are fourth with 67. And Manchester United are way down in 8th with 54 points. So they do need a victory to keep their hopes of returning to Europe alive. Now in the bottom half of the table, we have Luton at 18th, Burnley at 19th, and Sheffield United at 20th. And of course, these are the standings in the Premier League for this current week. That brings an end to the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Billy Shen, and of course, Beatrice is on standby with more details.
And you're still here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Thank you very much, Billy Shan, for bringing us the latest in sport. We'll be bringing you Campaign Trail very shortly. But first, the Ghana National Association of Teachers says more labour agitations loom in the coming days if the government fails to implement the conditions of service of pre-tertiary teachers. The General Secretary of NAT, Thomas Musa Tanko, says the conditions of service for teachers expired about 9 years ago, but the government has been dragging its feet on the matter. Take a listen to him.
Our condition of service and scheme of service are critical documents that determine the terms and conditions of our employment. However, the government's delay in negotiating and finalizing these documents has created uncertainty, demotivation, and discontent among teachers.
We have had enough of the nonchalance, complacency, and aloofness of the employer, and will thus not contemplate this situation any longer. Should the employer fail to address our demands on or before May 2024, we will take our next line of action.
So you heard some of the teachers there about their conditions of service. Also, the General Secretary of NAT, Thomas Musa Tanko, says the government is treading a dangerous path if it does not address teachers' concerns immediately. He spoke to Daniel Opoku.
Since 2009, teachers have been deceived till today. Anytime you go and ask for something, they say you are many. When you go and ask for something, they say, hold on. They begin to draw scenarios and all that. Why? Look, if you look at the statistics we have, among 830,000 children are born every year. Is it our fault for children to be born? When children are born, teachers must take care of them. And the promise is that teacher must be at the center. There is a deliberate policy that teacher must be at the center. Look, for the past 8 years or so, the only allowance that the teachers have been given is 100 Ghana cedis a month. And that 100 Ghana cedis, even that 100 Ghana cedis started in 2020. That 100 Ghana cedis is for professional development, that is all. What about the teacher's welfare? So if the teacher is saying that I'm doing extra work and you are aware that the teacher is doing extra work, the teacher is in a deprived area and you know that the teacher is in a deprived area and all that, and you are saying that you don't want to get it done, then I don't know the kind of things and the kind of agitations that this government want to see before they act.
Now, final question, what will make the teachers to stop these agitations?
They must be given what they deserve. And what they deserve is that what they deserve has been on the drawing board for the past 15 good years. And therefore, it must be given to them. During the COVID time, you were asked to sacrifice. These things they are working to pay. It has not been paid. It has not been paid. We cannot be blamed. And the teachers, for once, must take note of this one. That for once, promises that are made that are not kept. We must not let go without checking on them. And I can tell you, the teachers in this country are not happy. They are agitating and they are determined to make sure that what must be given to them will have to be given. They have been deceived for a very long time, and they are saying never again should they be deceived.
And you heard the General Secretary of NORT, Thomas Musa Tanko, speaking to Daniel Opoku earlier. We got to the Eastern region because some teachers held a press conference there today expressing their concerns also about the conditions of service. Yvonne Nekwe sat through that press conference for us in Koforidua. She joins us live. Yvonne, what are some of the issues beyond what we've heard that the teachers talk about?
Well, Beatrice, the issues were not beyond what the colleagues in Akrofi spoke about. Specifically, they detailed 4 out of 17 of the allowances they were hoping that government give to you. Let me run you through 4 of them. The deprived area allowance, the extra assessment allowance, the online teaching support allowance, and then the upward adjustment of the continuing profession development allowance. These were those critical areas the 3 teacher unions in the region spoke about. They said, well, they've been considered to government for all of the 17 allowances they want. But yes, they know that times are hard. But for this 4-1, they're hoping that government grants it for them. Else, in the next week, they'll have to put their chalks and pens down and then go on a national strike.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Yvonne Nekwe, for bringing us that update. It looks like government has a lot on its hands, Alfred.
Oh, absolutely. And if you listen to what they've been talking about, 100 cedis for professional development allowance. This money is subject to inflation and all of those deductions.
How much can 100 cedis do?
You can imagine.
Recently a pot of jollof, right, for 5 family members. Yeah. That's like 400 and something cedis. Is that what I saw?
Yeah, that's what you saw, actually. Depends on the ingredient. Anyway, but it's a serious issue.
Yeah.
You expect the teachers to be professionally groomed to impart more knowledge, current knowledge to the pupils. And so if you're giving them 100 cedis for professional development, no wonder we're getting what we're getting.
I think it's a bit uncomfortable. Having teachers agitate all the time. They really do sacrifice a lot, and we need to compensate them, or at least meet them halfway, I think.
Indeed. That's what leads us into campaign trail here on your election command center. It's some 19 minutes after 6. This is Campaign Trail on your election command center, 3FM 92.7. There appears to be looming crisis in the ruling NPP as some aggrieved members continue to contest the parliamentary seat on an independent ticket. Now, they just ended the by-election in a Jusso constituency. Though saw the NPP retaining the seat, the vote secured by the party's candidate was not encouraging compared to all previous elections in that constituency. Though the party has constituted a reconciliation committee, a leading member of the party in the Ashanti region, a municipal chief executive of the Asante Achim Central, Robert Kwachi, believes the party should ensure recommendations of the committee are implemented to prevent aggrieved members of the party from breaking away. I spoke to my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar, who's joining us from the Ashanti region right now. Ibrahim, let's get a bit more into what Robert Kwachi said with respect to the commitment to implement the recommendations of this reconciliation committee.
Exactly. He said that whilst urging aggrieved members of the party to relax and follow the party structure, it is also very important for the party structures to also work. Now we know that after the election, by-election, reconciliation committee has been constituted just to know how to bring all these people together. If you can recall, even on the election day, we heard the national chairman of the party, Stephen Intim, saying that after the election, they will do everything possible, take those initiatives to bring all aggrieved members back into the party because they need them to be able to break the age. So that said, that's how come the party has formed this or constituted this committee to do those things. We know Ejiso is a traditional seat for the MPP. And since 1996 to date, or let me say to the 2020 election, Constituent has never given an MPP anything below 75%. Yet in this by-election, we realize that the MPP candidate winning by 55%, they had to jubilate. And this is something they believe that it's nothing. It's not been done to forestall this issue of aggrieved members parting away from the party. Then it is going to cost them a lot in the December 7th election. We know that if you look at the gap, the Biomi getting 21,000 plus, then Kovna Boatin getting 27,000 plus, just 6,000 difference. And if they don't bring him on board, just don't convince him and do everything possible to address their concerns, then it is likely that maybe December 7th, they may lose the seat to an independent candidate, something which they do not want to do. So for Robert Kwachi, whilst, like I said, advising aggrieved party members to follow the structures to seek for redress, he's also asking the structures to work and also asking the reconciliation committee to make sure that they implement, or the party to implement the recommendations by the reconciliation committee.
So that's going to be a tall order for them. I mean, the likes of Komna Osodiomi have already declared their support for Alan Kojo Chamantin's movement for change. So really, it's going to be a lot more work to get him to turn his back on his newfound love and come back to the MPP, is it not?
Well, from how things are panning out, it's likely going to be very, very difficult for them. It's not impossible because they have initiated those talks just to, because it's basically the issue of album and some pertinent issue that when addressed, I'm sure not only Kovna also Ediomi, but other people who have the intention of contesting as independent candidates in the December 7 elections, they even have a change of mind. We have other constituencies that have aggrieved members also parting ways from the party. So this is not just for Ejiso alone, but for other constituencies or all constituencies, both in Ashanti and other regions. So they have to take this step, very, very important for them, because if they do not, then they are likely going to lose most of their votes. And perhaps there are people who decide not to vote because they do not want to vote for any other party apart from MPP, but they have issues with MPP as well. So the turnout will be very low in maybe most of their strongholds where these issues are, and it is likely going to create chance for other candidates from other political parties or even from an independent candidate. So very important for them. It is going to be very, very difficult, like you said, but there is no harm in trying. So they have to take this step just to be able to resolve those issues in the party.
Ibrahim, you've been seeing things in the constituency. You've been there even ahead of the parliamentary primary. Are there real signs that indeed the constituents are unhappy, although the MPP won this very seat?
Well, exactly. Looking at the margin and how even things pan out, forcing people to come and vote, and the allegation of inducement and other things. And some believe that this is not the say of the majority of the people, because most of them clearly wanted Ediomi to win, even though they didn't want NDC, for instance, to come, but they wanted MPP to lose just to serve as a lesson that they cannot be taking them for granted. Just because since 1996 they have remained loyal to them doesn't mean that they can do whatever they want and just go scot-free. And those issues they believe must be addressed before, because we still have influential members of parliament or influential members of the party who are still aggrieved. And they are saying that until the party leadership take that initiative, try and resolve everything, then it's either they may not even participate in the December 7 election, or will have to field an independent candidate and vote massively for him. So although MPP has won, but you don't see that excitement. Like I said, for a party that has never had anything below, for the parliamentary, anything below 75%, and the presidential, nothing below 80%. And for them to struggle to get 55% tells you that most people were not happy, even though they've won the election.
So what you're saying essentially is that beyond the numbers that we had, the unhappiness is actually beyond the numbers we had. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. You still find people who are aggrieved, who would want something to be done, who would want to see a change in the action of party leadership, so that at least they know that their concerns have been addressed and they will know what to do next. So you go there, whilst others are jubilating, you still find a lot more people who are not satisfied with the outcome of the election.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim Abubakar. He's a man in the Ashanti region. We're still in politics because the new force has launched the Save Ghana Fund, a project aimed at revitalizing the political climate with fresh perspectives, integrity, and progressive ideals. Leader Nana Kwame Bediako is urging the nation to actively participate in the movement, ensuring its success and safeguarding the nation's interests. And we'll bring you more on that in our subsequent bulletins, Alfred.
Indeed. And that's more you find more on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. And while we were to hear from the new force movement and the call that they're trying to make, we'll see how things play out on 3news.com. And before we leave, you go on 3news.com. One person is reported to be in critical condition after a tree fell on him on this earlier today. This was during the heavy rainfall that characterized the morning. A video that you can find on 3news.com, according to
we're actually seeing that on Facebook
right now. Yeah, if you go on our Facebook page at 3FM927, we're streaming that incident.
Looks really serious.
Yeah, that's this falling tree on a 4x4 vehicle.
I didn't feel the wind when it was raining this morning, but to see these huge trees uprooted.
Well, yeah. I mean, it depends on where you live. I mean, you live in.
Please, not on air.
So I felt it because. Anyway. It's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. My name is Alfred Ocansey.
My name is Beatrice. Thank you so much for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of our programs.
Join me at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight on TV3.